Stuck in the stuck in the stuck in the
Welcome, friends. It's Stuck in the Mail. It's episode 44. I've got it on my phone here because neither of us has the LP. It's Surf's Up by the Beach Boys. And you might be thinking, why does the cover look like that? Great question. This is a strange album. Strange from 1971. And this is actually a part two episode continuing from two episodes ago when we talked about The Flame. Casey,
Yes.
thank you again. The Flame has changed my musical life.
Yes. And not only that, the actual previous release on Brother Records. So it went Smiley Smile and then Sunflower. And then they put out The Flame self-titled, which we covered. And then Brother Records 004, Surf's Up. So we're in catalog order here for two releases.
And this is a real experience, this album. I don't know how I got here. It's possible that it was on the Rolling Stone 500. That's probably what happened.
Hmm.
Because music critics don't really know what to do with the Beach Boys other than Pet Sounds. It's like, how do you, because it all imploded. We talked about this on the Flame episode, but just a little bit of a recap. Pet Sounds, critically acclaimed, at least in England, was not well loved by anybody really, commercially, until later. And then now, of course, nowadays it's universally loved as like the greatest album of all time or
Yep.
one of them. And universally, and it should be. It's incredible. Brian Wilson's masterwork. And then Brian had some problems and he was working on some material that didn't quite materialize. And there were a few kind of aimless albums,
It's
I
it's really
guess.
it's really funny to even say something like that. He was working on some material that didn't materialize in the most grandiose, epic way.
Yeah, because this stuff just got more and more complex. I mean, you listen, I mean, Good Vibrations is the perfect example. That was supposed to be
Yep.
on the follow-up to Pet Sounds. And, when you listen to Smile now, I mean, it's full of ideas.
I don't think we'll ever have Smile as Brian Wilson's lofty ambitions thought it would be, but it was an
Right.
interesting thing that he floated for a long time. And I don't know. I don't believe in the record reviewer hype of what could have been and what is Smile and where is Smile. I believe in the people's narrative of he couldn't beat the Beatles. He went cuckoo. We don't know what happened with the Flame. We wish we knew what happened with the Flame. We wish we could give one straight narrative that said, "Oh, Carl found them, and then they're going to bring Brian back," or we'll make them play Beatles songs, or look, they can play Beatles songs. But we'll never know, and it wasn't distributed. And oddly enough, the first time we see one of the four South Africans is on this album. Blondie's on track 5 playing bass of all things
On the worst possible song.
on the worst possible song. So they're already very welcoming. Here you go. Play an instrument you don't play and be on this terrible song.
So just catching you up if you missed the previous episode. So as the story goes, Carl saw these guys who we know as the Flame or the Flames. He saw them playing in London and was like, these guys are incredible because they were. And they sounded exactly like you would hope the Beatles would sound in 1971 after they had broken up.
Yep.
And, Casey and I, our position is that Carl was like, this is what we need to do going forward. We need to have a rock edge. We need to get away from the surfing thing. We need to get away from the, complex Brian Wilson approach because it didn't pay off. And this is the way of the future. And so gradually you do start to see these guys from the Flame, namely Blondie Chaplin and what's the drummer's name?
Ricky Fattar.
Ricky Fattar. They start to show up on Beach Boys albums to the
Yep.
point that after this, Sail on Sailor, great song, sung lead vocals on that one's Blondie Chaplin. So
Yep.
we are somewhere right now with Surf's Up with this very strange record. We are somewhere where the Flame are being brought into the fold somehow. It's a little murky, but that's kind of
It's
where we are.
it has begun, They have put out the Flame self-title. And when I say put out, I mean they made it. I don't think they distributed it though. Like it didn't go anywhere. That's why it's such a rare record. It sat in a closet or a shelf. But the next release is Surf's Up. So already someone, and Brian's still with the Beach Boys here, already someone is going, "Hey, do you want to be on this album?" And
Well,
Blondie Chaplin's like, "Yes."
and so this is so interesting to me because they are essentially rebranding. The Beach Boys are.
Yeah,
And
big time.
why would you use this image for your rebrand? Uh, this is actually a painting based on a sculpture called End of the Trail.
No.
Uh, it's a little insensitive to say the least, but what is meant by this is like, why would you call this Surf's Up? Well, it was a play on words. It was the surfing era is up, the surfing
Mhm.
era is over. And of
Yep.
course, the title track on this album, Surf's Up, which is at the very end, which is a Brian song,
Hmm.
is commonly seen as essentially a farewell to
Oh yeah.
their image of the past. Super
Yep.
interesting. But not only do we have this end of the trail, but you're talking about the promotion of the flame. Now, I want to put
Hmm.
this image on the screen because you sent it to me.
Hmm.
And the the image where they promoted the flame is not the murdered warrior slumping over on the horse. It is a warrior standing up. What's he
Yeah.
doing with his arm? And a
Yeah.
triumphant native warrior.
Hmm.
It's weird. Um, and
Yeah.
here's the
That's the
text.
logo.
And here's the text that goes with it. This is about the flame. Progressive rock, top new group. By the way, three of the Beach Boys are brothers. By the way, three of the Flame are brothers. By the way, the Beach Boys and the Flame are on Brother Records.
Yep.
And so this is the rider rising from the ashes, the flame, get it? And it's so interesting that they had this whole marketing strategy that has completely been lost to history.
Yeah. Uh, you know, we were maybe supposed to get more Flame. Like they're the only non-Beach Boys on the Brother Records. But the thing is, I mean, we will never know. Some of them were in the band. They were obviously very integral. I wish we could ever have anything but speculation on this. Because it is a big topic, and you would think some of these kind of things would come out, and maybe they will. Um,
But think about all the people that are involved at this point. You
yeah.
have Carl, who this is
Uh-huh.
all seems to be his idea,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and a
Yes.
very good idea. And Carl is
Yes.
now the de facto band leader.
Yes.
And then you have Mike Love, who, well, the man probably did have really good instincts in the early days in terms of like it's his voice on a lot of those surfing hits. He
Yeah.
knew what was marketable, but his two songs on this one, just to give you an example, are "Don't Go Near the Water," the dorky opening, and
The
student
Throwback 50s song. Yep.
student demonstration time, which
Possibly the worst Beach Boys song ever, although I'm sure there's worse.
which is so silly in every way. And the takeaway apparently is it isn't, hey, fight the power. The takeaway
Right.
isn't anything like that. It's, don't get caught up in that stuff or you might get hurt.
Right, right, exactly. Well, I mean, the previous song, if we can jump around here, Disney Girls, is possibly my favorite.
Oh,
It's
good.
an amazing, heartfelt, beautiful song. It's Bruce Johnston, I think's his
Yeah,
name,
Bruce Johnston.
the one guy that kind of came in later and wasn't a very important member. The Beach Boys are confusing, but yeah, the Disney Girls, again, we have a throwback song feel to the era the Beach Boys came out of, before society left them behind,
Yep.
before the Beach Boys were left behind, before they were pigeonholed into their own genre that they made that they were never a part of, because surf music is not the Beach Boys. I digress. But so this happened to them. And so here again is a song where they're calling back to their easier days, like the very
Nostalgia.
first. Yes, it's pure nostalgia and it's a beautiful song and it works here. But student demonstration time, it does not work. It comes out having them sound privileged and affluent, which they were at this point, especially. Murray's out of the picture. Their iron-fisted dad, and Brian only cares about making enough money now to live in his mansion. Like
Well,
there's a strange era here.
it's a very strange experience because again, we're talking about Carl, we got Mike, Brian is MIA, but yet we get to
Pretty much.
all of his songs stacked up at the end of this, which is
Yeah.
super interesting. I
And
think
then he's
Mike,
gone. This is like it for Brian for a while
yeah,
too. You
I have a
know,
feeling Mike Love was the one who was like, just put all of Brian's stuff at the end. Uh,
probably.
but then you have, to your point, you have Al Jardine,
Uh-huh.
you have Dennis Wilson, who has his own stuff going on,
Yeah.
who does not have any songs on this particular album.
Yeah.
And then, yes, this Bruce Johnson song. So the track order: Don't Go Near the Water, very strange quasi-environmental message, kind of out of nowhere. Uh, you have Long Promised Road, which is a pretty good song, feels kind of like a single. It's a good Carl
It
showcase.
it is the single and it is Carl.
Yeah. And then you have Take a Load Off Your Feet, which is a very strange Jardine sort of smile-esque novelty
Brian. Brian,
song.
I think.
Yeah. And
Goofy.
goofy, really goofy. And then you go from
Mhm.
that into Disney Girls. And I'm so glad you mentioned Disney Girls because look, this has that kind of watery 70s synth that kind of bogs it down. But what a melody. The first time I ever heard this song, are you ready for this?
Oh, boy, oh boy, you've been in the Goodwill bins, haven't you?
This is one of the few records I had independent of you, Casey.
Oh wow. Huh?
Captain and Tennille, Love Will Keep Us Together,
Nice.
has a cover because Daryl Dragon, this gentleman,
Hmm. Yeah,
was
yeah,
in the band too. He was in the
yeah.
Beach Boys too. This is so confusing. And
Okay.
Disney Girls, track 3. So this version's pretty good. You know who does a great version of that song?
There's
Art
more.
Art Garfunkel.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
Well,
know
it's
that
good to know it's still covered, huh?
I mean it's only been covered a couple of times, but what interesting lyrics. I'll fill your hands with kisses and a Tootsie Roll. The
It's
reason
good.
this one doesn't work, it's sung by Tennille. The reason why it
Yeah.
doesn't work is I don't believe her when when she says that she's been um, making wine in her garage.
Oh yeah, that's a great line. That's so funny.
Anyway,
Uh that's a good get. I'm encouraging you to get records. So, whatever you want to find out there is good by me.
but
But
enough about that song. But yeah, student demonstration time. That's side A. What a weird
yeah.
side. But then it starts to get good, Casey. Feel
Yeah.
flows.
This yeah. Yeah, that's kind of it's a Carl song.
It's a
I've done
Carl
some
song.
research. Yep. So Carl is coming out of his shell as the head guy here, and to some degree, he's replacing his older brother. Obviously in the canon of things, no one's going to say that, but he did fill a void. Um,
This song is I mean, this is Carl's feature. Like, this is
mhm.
his moment to shine. And of all the songs on this album, even more than the title track, Surfs Up, this is my favorite.
Okay.
Apparently, it was featured in Almost Famous, I think,
Hmm. Interesting.
which I didn't realize until I was reading later. But I mean, apparently, people in the know, like Cameron Crowe, love this song too. And it's just very, mysterious and you feel like you're floating on a cloud and the lyrics are really like psychedelic too. It's just a beautiful performance and one of my favorite songs by anybody. Feel flows.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to revisit it. I wrote a few funny words like weird and spacey.
Basically.
Um, I wonder if it is like got some really interesting sounds on it, if it's a heavily sampled thing,
Well, it's got
because
some incredible flute playing on it. I mean, just insane flute. I should
yeah.
find out who played the flute and credit them because it is an
Yeah, you should.
incredible performance.
And that's another thing I meant to mention earlier when you were saying, we were talking about Bruce Johnston and the Dragon, Daryl Dragon, and all that. Is that this album too is the full support of like whoever they want from the Wrecking Crew. Like if you look at the Wikipedia, Carol Kay is even on this on one track, but like they're basically like, hey, we need a really good bass for this, and like the Beach Boys are like looking at each other and they're like, call up the Wrecking Crew. You know, they're really spoiled, just like, in some degree, they're the essence of what a fake band is here, because
Sure.
they're just being like, let's use this and let's use this. And it's, they're never in the studio together.
And they probably have
And
tons of money at their disposal.
tons of cash still. They're able to, I don't know why they made Brother Records. I'm a record label nerd and I should look into it, but they've gone their own. The only other bands of that caliber that have done it are the Beatles, the Stones, and Led Zeppelin, basically,
Yeah.
where they have their own label.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and you're right. Carol Kay on bass and
oh yeah,
Charles Lloyd is the flautist on Feel Flows. Respect,
gotcha. I'm
Charles Lloyd.
sure he's literally the best flautist in the world. Now I want guacamole, Mike. Flautas. Flautas.
All right.
It's not fair.
Feel Flows. Best Beach
Yes.
Boys song ever. Check it out.
Yes.
Best Carl song ever. I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Then you got a really weird acoustic Jardine song. Then you have A Day in the Life of a Tree, which is another very strange Brian kind of thing, but that starts to get really good at like
Hmm.
when there's about 15 seconds left in the track, all of a sudden these like layered vocals and it starts to get, oh wow, this is Brian. You start to realize. And then what a 1-2 punch to close this thing out. Till I
Yep.
Die.
Yep. Yep. Apparently released as the B side on the single. So yeah.
I mean, if you like what's the song, what's the song everyone loves on Pet Sounds? God Only Knows.
Right.
If you like God Only Knows, this is the same. It feels like not an outtake because it feels like a real track, but
Yep.
Till I Die kind of it becomes a round at the end
Hmm.
God Only Knows does, and it's just a beautifully recorded, inventive, obviously existential
Yeah.
crisis of a song. It just gets in Brian's head here, and there's all these amazing Brian songs packed at
Hmm.
the end of this thing,
And then no more. Like that's it.
and
That for
that's
a
it.
while.
Surfs Up.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the Beach Boys, I've watched a lot of stuff online and they were really into I can't remember. They were really into transcendental meditation. And even though we don't think of the Beach Boys as being very like, upper mind people of any level, like these guys were really kind of riding the wave that was popular with all the big bands, with your John Lennon and Harrison too, right? It was just Paul that really couldn't stand the Mahavishnu or oh gosh,
Maharishi.
Maharishi. Oh my goodness, getting everything messed up. Now I sound like an idiot, but these guys were into transcendental meditation and they were into this higher power stuff. And I think I don't know if there's any reference to how the flame comes into all of this, but this lyrics that Brian writes here, the "Till I Die," where he's like basically a leaf on the ocean, and he's just adrift, and I think it's coming out as a positive thing as opposed to like just kind of like
Yeah,
what
it
a
is
drag.
Eastern. You're right. It's an
Yeah,
Eastern
very
kind
Eastern
of
thing.
viewpoint. Yeah, it could be taken also as a I'm lost.
Yeah, it
Yes.
could. I think Brian Wilson, when he kind of got pushed aside or when like problems he started having problems, I think he'd already amassed such wealth that I think he just wanted to stay comfortable, and I think he kind of did crazy things to keep people away.
Yeah. Well, the title track "Surfs Up" apparently is a recording from like
Mm,
'67. Like it's
mm,
it was a recording that they had in the can and they just had never released it. And I guess it was going to be featured on Smile. Um, Talk about a vocal performance. I mean, this is Brian Wilson's. It feels like his swan song or something. Like it feels like this is
mhm.
his last great piece, which of course is not true, but um, that's why this album is so fascinating to me. It's because to go through all that dreck on side A and then end up with this song, Surfs Up. My
Yeah.
goodness. The complexity of this songwriting. I mean, it goes beyond pop music, rock music, orchestration. It is just the mind of a genius. in one recording. And you put that up against these Mike Love songs, and I'm like, what this band, this like collective of people, and now they've added the Flame who are about to join. It's
You had
incredible.
to get one more jab in there on Mike Love, huh?
Listen, I do respect that his voice, his commercial instincts had a lot to do with their success. But here, he's a
Yeah.
liability, man.
I have a couple of neat things related to this to show that hopefully don't have too much glare. I have Blondie Chaplin's first. Oh, the glare is everywhere. Blondie Chaplin's first album, which was on Asylum. Uh, this is really cool. This is Holland. So Holland wasn't the next album, but the one after that, and the last recorded studio album with the Flame guys. But this is a 7-inch that is mostly spoken word. And Mike, if you can believe this, see that 7-inch pick sleeve right there?
Uh-huh.
That's 1972. It looks like it's 82. Isn't that
Yep,
wild?
it is. It
I
is.
couldn't believe it. I actually pulled it out and I was like, what is this? I thought it was the wrong sleeve. That's it.
Yeah.
It's too bad there's so much glare with this stuff, but look at this. I'm going to show you here. It should say side 3 and side 4. That's Brother
Nice.
Records. And
Well,
that was what it came with. One LP and then one 7-inch.
and I wish I could tell you that everything went great for the Beach Boys in the 70s. Um,
No, we don't need to go there.
the Beach Boys love you. I started that one, and
Oh no. Oh
wow.
no. Ding dang dang. That's a no.
But we have
Uh
as one I have one final note before we close this
okay.
thing out. Other than just to say, if you haven't listened to Surf's Up, if you have any interest in the Beach Boys, it's one to check out. If for no other reason than to check out the B side for those incredible Carl and Brian songs. But uh, where this intersects with our life, here, say what you're going to say first.
I have one more record to show, and it's going to be my closing comment, which is what happened to the Flame? Well, Ricky Fattar ended up being the George Harrison character in the Ruddles here with Eric Idle. So if you think possibly my Beatles idea is correct, well, to some degree, it is correct. Yes,
Amazing.
yes,
So where this whole thing intersects with us, because this all happened way before Casey and I were born.
yes.
Intersects with us in the late 80s with
Kokomo?
Kokomo.
Yeah, I think fourth or fifth grade for me. It was
Did-
one of my first cassettes.
I was gonna say I thought you bought the cassette.
Yeah, which is pretty embarrassing, but it's
The
one of
cocktail soundtrack.
yeah, and only other thing worth a damn on it was "Don't Worry, Be Happy," which is, by the way, one of the greatest songs. If you put that song on, man, I challenge someone to be mad.
I
It,
have a vivid memory of singing that song in choir.
uh-huh. It'll make you happy. It is a
Imagine
happy tune.
so Kokomo, I mean, so funny. You have to watch this video. Like if you haven't, first of all, for me,
Oh
it's
no.
interesting because it was filmed at Disney's Grand Floridian Hotel, which had just been built. And I know what you're about to say. It features a a young John Stamos on steel drums.
Mm-hmm.
No
Well,
fooling.
he had a small career. He was in some bad movies. He's in one with Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons is a drag queen. I
Mhm.
cannot remember it, but it is really something. I think it's martial arts too.
My favorite moment of the whole Kokomo video, though, it is the pinnacle of it says so much about the Beach Boys. Mike Love is sitting.
Oh boy, one more jab, huh?
Mike Love is holding a saxophone the entire time. And wouldn't
Yeah,
you know it, when we get to that crazy sax solo, the ridiculous sax solo in the middle of that song, which he cannot play a saxophone. Let's just be clear. You better believe he pulls that thing up and acts like he is miming it as though he is the coolest guy in the world. And it is so funny. You have to watch the Kokomo video.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I'll try to put that in the comments below. Okay.
Anyway, that's all I got on
Too
the Beach
good.
Boys.
Too good.
Thank you for sticking with us, everyone, on the two-parter. We got
Yep.
a special one coming up for episode 45.
That's right. Episode 45 is going to be on what else? The 45. That's right. Before the album, there were still records. Can you believe it? And they're commonly referred to as 45. They're very popular these days amongst DJs for their high fidelity and their compactness, and they're easy to cue and play and transition. So let's find out what those crazy things are and why DJ Think here is so crazy about them.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, surf's up, everyone.
Cowabunga. We'll see you on down the road.